About Eli. I'd heard that one product of the Les Enfants Terribles project went missing in Africa. The age would be about right. Now, I'm not saying I think it's Eli, but I want to run a genetic test all the same. Don't worry, I'll have it done without him noticing. The test may take some time, but I'll tell you as soon as we have the results. Roger.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Boss, about Eli. I'd heard that one product of the Les Enfants Terribles project went missing in Africa. The age would be about right. Now, I'm not saying I think it's Eli, but I want to run a genetic test all the same. Don't worry, I'll have it done without him noticing. The test may take some time, but I'll tell you as soon as we have the results. Mission objectives are to extract the child soldier's commander and their captive, the General's number 2. This child soldier platoon decided to break away from the Mbeli militants. They took the number 2 captive and have occupied an abandoned village. Start by checking that location on your map. Boss, child soldiers will treat you as an enemy, but they're just kids. See that they don't get hurt. That's the village the boy soldiers have taken over. It was deserted. Seems they're using it as their base of operations. Targets are there. Look carefully.
Be careful down there, boss.
Best conducted from high vantage points. I've marked a good spot on your map. Take a look at your iDroid.
Quiet.
Is that him? Take a good look at their faces so we can ID the targets. Is that him? Take a good look at their faces so we can ID the targets. Group of child soldiers. No, must be a squad they had out on patrol. Security will be tighter now. Watch yourself. Boss, another child soldier has entered the village. Must have been out on patrol. Looks like they had more than one patrol out. Security will be tighter now. Watch yourself. That's the target prisoner. He's injured. Okay, that's the General's brother, his number 2. Get him out of there, boss. Roger.
General fe. Nabo fe. Nde me wakayo fe. Ufwaka General. Mu butidila kayandi yina ya salaka dibuti na mono.
Okay, subject is in.
This is Pequot. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
General, Lungu, Mosi, Tata ya Bantaka, Mono, Elaka Mono, Santi ya Pepa, ya Mbele.
All that's left is to extract the commander. Nice work. Tranquilizer pistol or CQC to put him down. Looks like the enemy's lost sight of you. They're gonna try to hunt you down. Extract him.
squad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is C-Squad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Mission complete, boss. Boss, about how we report this one to the client. I'll tell them we took heavy resistance from the renegade platoon and the hostage was killed in the firefight. Also, their leader wouldn't let himself be taken alive. I doubt the client will pay us for this one, but we got a big enough reward from the General's #2 instead. And as for the #2, he's saying he wants to join Diamond Dogs. I guess he knows what that means for him. He said, if I'm working for you, I can be #2 or #200 for all I care. Boss, we have an emergency. Many of our staff are falling ill. At first it seemed like a common cold, but before we knew it, blisters started popping up on their chests and... Damn it. I'll fill you in at the ACC. Just get in the chopper. Look closely. Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop. Boss, do you remember seeing these symptoms before? The bodies floating around in the oil facility, the bedridden test subjects at the Devil's House. This epidemic looks just like what we've seen on our hunt for Cypher. So this is the weapon of mass destruction Cypher was working on in Africa. Boss, the situation is urgent. We need to quarantine the infected and contain the pathogen. Priority now is to prevent more casualties. The problem is, how do we tell who's infected? During the incubation period, we have no way of knowing who's clean. You'll have to try and guess who's infected before they go symptomatic and quarantine them. That'd be easy if we just knew the route or vector of the infection. From now on, if you even suspect a staff member's infected, use your iDroid to order them into quarantine. Given the situation, the men won't submit to quarantine just because I or the medical team tell them to. But they will listen to you. Of course, it's just a temporary measure until we find a permanent solution. But at least they'd be in solitary isolation so they won't infect each other, and we get the mental care they need. If we do nothing, we'll only lose more people. We have no choice. Boss, open your iDroid. I'll explain how to quarantine staff members suspected of infection. Go to the Mother Base menu and select Staff Management. First, take a look at the quarantine facility we've set up. We'll isolate anyone who's already symptomatic at the quarantine facility. But we have to expect that there are multiple staff who are infected, but asymptomatic. So how do we identify them? At present, we have no way to tell them apart. But there has to be something for us to go on. If you notice anything, reassign staff you suspect are infected to the quarantine facility. We'll monitor them and then contact you if there's a change in their condition. Correctly quarantining these asymptomatic infected will reduce the number of new infections. You should continue with your missions as usual. If Cypher is behind this, going after them should help us determine the root cause of this epidemic. Also, until we identify the pathogen, we can't fire or dispatch any staff. We cannot let this thing spread. Boss, get to the bottom of this fast. We're counting on you. Boss, a new job's come in. It's a hit. I'm a human trafficker who sent Shabani and the others to Nzoya Badiabulu, where you ran into Skullface. The thing is, this guy might know something about the disease that's going around Mother Base. The symptoms are similar to the ones we saw at that factory. Start by checking the mission details on your iDroid. Target is a PF logistics officer who works as a human trafficker on the side. The client wants him dead. He's currently on the run somewhere on the savannah with bodyguards. Unfortunately, we don't know what route they're taking. All we have to go on is a coded transmission sent by the PF at the Tati abandoned village. It appears to be a workup of the target's security plans, but to decipher it, we'll need an intel file with the encryption key. This key should be at the comms facility at the Tati abandoned village. Check your iDroid to see what the target looks like, as well as the location of the village. Find a route, find a man.
Be careful down there, boss.
Whew.
O ja, hulle het uiteindelik helmets begin uitdeel. Goeie goed. Wat? Talk. Ek verstaan nie.
Where are your
Ek
friends?
verstaan nie.
Afrikaans is the lingua franca for mercs in that area. If you're going to get any information from interrogations, you'll need an interpreter. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that. You gonna extract him? That's an enemy guard post.
Let's try somewhere else.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
Quiet.
That's Kaziba camp. CFA are stationed there, but there's no sign of activity for now. If you could find that intel file, it could give you a lead on him.
Zeker is Delta 9. Ik heb die verdachte persoon in sig. Het iemand nodig om te bezichtig. Oor. Er is CFA, begrijp. Stuur iemand om onderzoek in te stellen. Hou jou oor voor verdere activiteit. Uit.
Fire!
CFA, dit is een vuur. Mag het de veilige scherpschutter. Oor. De CFA, begrijp. Vat defensieve posities en zoek die sniper. Uit.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. There should be an intel file at the Ditati abandoned village that will tell us where the target is.
Fire!
He's coming too. Roger that. There has to be a transmitter somewhere at the Ditati abandoned village. More or less.
Alles geht verder, das steht hier. Anvalspositie. Alle eenheden, anvalspositie.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
CP, dat kan niet. Wat hier hebben we gewoon gevallen. Wij zoeken een lekker versterker. De CP, begrijp. Alle eenheden. Er liggen alle beschikbare mannenkracht voor geruststellen. Herhaal. Stuur versterkers. Knap, uit. CP, dat is Delta 3. Visuele contact verloren. Keer terug naar laatste bekende positie. Oor. De CP, begrijp. Doe je onderzoek. Maar wees voorzichtig. Uit. HK. Dis hier. Ons het die vijand ingetrek, maar contact verloren na kruisvuur. Vijand kan nog iewers naby wegkruip. Adviseer waaksaamheid. Hoor. Alle skaders, dis is hier. 'n Stelligheid afgegaan. Lyk soos 'n probleem met die kragbron. Die ook al die naaste is gaan kyk na die kragstelsel.
Their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, and that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close. The outpost. Target is on the move somewhere on the savannah. Problem is, we don't know what route he's taking. It's too big a search area to cover without more information. If you could find that intel file, it could give you a lead on him.
Fire!
Target's getting away. Turned out to be the target. Your objective's complete. We'll let the client know he's been dealt with. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
squad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Fire! Fire!
This is P squad. Have arrived at LZ.
The role of the support chopper is to extract you and your targets from the area of operations. It'll respond to situations with support fire as needed, and you can use flare grenades to...
Cover fire. In hot. Rocket salvo. Rocket salvo. This is P squad. No targets remaining. Ending attack run and we'll stand by at LZ. This is P squad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude. Departing.
Mission complete. Great work. Our trafficker was very talkative. Guinea pigs. That's what became of his kidnapped victims. Says he got a good look at that factory at Zoya Badiabulu when he dropped off some fresh guinea pigs for them, along with our man without a face. His instincts told him to run like the rat he is. Said it wasn't worth the money. Figured he could be next. That's when he went to the NGO for help. He thought that in exchange for his buyer's list, they could set him up with a new identity someplace far away. He had an idea who he was up against, and he didn't want to take any chances. A true rat. But like us dogs, he knew when he smelled trouble. And something else. He said the specimens come from deep in the forest. We don't know what he meant by specimens just yet, but those guinea pig symptoms match what we've seen on the infected at Mother Base. Deep in the forest. Maybe there's the clue we need to beat this infection. Boss, the truth could be right around the corner. Boss, we finally heard from one of our missing intel team members. He says he has a solid lead on the epidemic at Mother Base. Take a look at the mission details ASAP. Boss, about Eli. No matter how many times we talk to him, he just won't listen. He sees everything in terms of victory or defeat and still won't accept that you beat him. We're gonna have to put him in his place. Again. If you don't mind, mind, come back to Mother Base and don't run around with him. Has that rat finally accepted that he lost? Hopefully now he'll be a bit more obedient.